Hello, it's Media Center Ukraine Odesa, and our next briefing is about possible Romanian government elections, about the mines which are near the Black Sea coast of Romania. One of them exploded not so long time ago. We are going to talk online with Claudiu Degeratu, independent expert and associate professor of the Faculty of History at the University of Bucharest. Claudio, hello, thanks for being with us.
Hello, thank you for the invitation.
What's going on at the moment in the Romanian government? What could be the actions that it could do to prevent other Russian mines to get to the Black Sea coast of Romania?
Well, I think there are several issues and some lines of actions. First of all, it's the national monitor activities. We continue what we are doing already to monitor our sea coast and security in especially on the Danube Delta, because it's even near to Ukraine and to the Black Sea Russian activities. I want to stress that apart from the national efforts to monitor with ships and with our Air Force, we also have a NATO surveillance monitoring activity and mission here in Romania. And also we are cooperating with Moldova and other nations, Bulgaria and also Turkey, because our NATO allies are doing the same like us. We try to coordinate, and we are doing this under the NATO umbrella, because NATO now is paying more attention to our region. In the same time, we try to intensify the missions, the patrol missions, especially on the seaside, especially in the touristical areas, which are more, let's say, with more risk for the tourists and for the locals. And also we try to monitor the activity and the potential risk on the commercial route, because this is also another important chapter. And also we try to prevent other potential risk for commercials, not only for the citizens. These are the main activities, and also we have close contacts with NATO headquarters. They also try to improve and to support Romania and Bulgaria for this area of risk. But again, we cannot let's say solve 100% this risk. So the risk will stay, but we try to control more of it.
Tell me, please, were there any public discussions after this mine explosion? Because as far as I can understand, that's the first time when Russian-Ukrainian war actually touched physically one of the NATO countries, especially Black Sea Basin countries. What were the opinions which were expressed in media or in public or in civic society about it?
There were discussions. As you said, it was the first explosion, in fact, on our seaside. And in the past, we identified several mines, but we managed to control them. First of all, it was an official reaction from the Ministry of Defense that they reported that there are not any, let's say, military direct threats from a Russian military activity against Romania. In the same time, they said that they intensify the monitoring activities, and also from the government, also from the Prime Minister office and from other officials, they also support the same opinion that it was we cannot identify the mine, we cannot let's say define very precisely the details of this situation, but in the same time we declare that we will continue to extend our surveillance on our seaside. So. We first of all we try to look at the Russian activities, and in the last few weeks we saw a lot of Russian obstructions, Russian provocative actions against ships, against our neighbor Bulgaria, because they decided to do a Russian military exercise in the Bulgarian exclusive economic zones. We had our situation with the mine exploded on our seaside. So actually, the entire all these events are part of a Russian hybrid warfare against Ukraine and against the neighboring countries on the Black Sea. That was the main line of, let's say, or the headline in Romania, that it's an ongoing Russian hybrid warfare in the Black Sea, which I totally agree.
About the hybrid war, just a few days ago, Ukrainian Danube port, Reni, was hit with missiles and Shahed drones from the Russian side, and a few videos of air defense system of Ukraine working leaked to the Romanian and later to Russian and Ukrainian media. And one of my colleagues asked me to ask a question: is it possible to somehow explain to Romanian citizens that publishing of such videos can possibly disclose the system of the air defense missile and cannon system of Ukraine? Is it possible to explain that publishing of such videos is not very good for the defense of Ukraine? And surely nobody thinks that it was done on purpose, but it could be just occasional bad thing which can be used against Ukraine.
I totally agree with you. That should be the rule, not to disclose or not to publish on online or other ways in media some recordings which are disclosing the Ukrainian activity, military activity. There are already voices, Romanian voices, and they advised the Romanian population not to do these kind of things anymore. I'm sure the Romanians will learn. We are now, let's say, in the new situation, having the conflict very close to our border. It's an unusual things, and we will learn fast for sure. This is not, let's say, a big problem for us to understand that we need to let's say, keep all the relevant and strategic information away from the online presence or public presence. So again, there are already Romanian voices which are advising the Romanian citizens not to do any more this kind of video recordings.
How do you think, is it possible for Romanian government to assist somehow Ukraine to form a new alternative corridor for the grain routes? Because a few days ago, yesterday or the day before yesterday, the first container ship left Odesa seaport, first after the grain agreement was closed by Russians. The vessel left Odesa seaport, and we will check how it will go through the Black Sea waters and Bosphorus, but it will go, I suppose, including Romanian territorial waters. And possibly, is it possible from your point of view for Romanian government to somehow assist Ukraine to make a new safe corridor for the vessels to leave ports of Greater Odessa?
Well, I think here there are two there are two, let's say, main problems here. First of all, we decided a few weeks ago, a few days ago, we had a meeting with Ukraine part in Galați, also with U.S. and European Union representatives, and we decided to develop and to increase the transit route via Romania with land, rail, and inward waters channels. In the same time, we will support for sure all the Ukrainian efforts to develop their, let's say, humanitarian corridor. But we are doing this in coordination with NATO and our strategic partners, because we need to see the level of let's say risk. We need to see the level of implication, and of course we will see the Russian reactions. We can provide an alternative route for sure, and we can provide, or we can increase the amount of grains transiting Romania. This is already an official commitment from the Romanian government to double the size of the transportation of Ukrainian grains from 2 million per month to 4 million per month. It's an important, let's say, objective to work with the Ukrainians and to help them in every way possible. Of course, when it comes to the protection of a humanitarian maritime corridor, we need to have a close coordination with other NATO countries, because this is a highly risky, let's say, business to engage possible Russian warships, or to have a let's say a strike from the Russian warship during this kind of activity. So again, it's a complex issue, but as far as I understand, we are not ruling out our help to establish a humanitarian corridor. We would prefer officially to have a diplomatic negotiation to re-establish the initiative, the humanitarian initiative to have a maritime route as it was a few weeks ago. But that depends on Russia, and of course Russia now it's in a difficult situation that they want to trade the grain initiative, humanitarian trade initiative, for other in their other Moscow's interests. So probably the Russia will negotiate more on this issue with Turkey in the next coming meeting.
Yeah, as far as I understand, Putin is preparing for meeting with Erdogan, and possibly some news will arise. But the thing is that actually during last, I suppose, weeks, Ukrainian government and Ukrainian military was doing their best to establish a new corridor, maybe not only humanitarian, but to establish a new sea corridor for the vessels leaving ports of Odesa and Yuzhny and Chernomorsk, without any Russian involvement, without any Russian guarantees. And how do you think, will Romania somehow will take part in that initiative, or Romanian government will think that it's more about military, that it can possibly make a military conflict with Russia, which Romania is not is interested, obviously, in?
Well, it's as far as I understand, of course, it's the Ukrainian main responsibility to establish a new commercial corridor in the Black Sea. We cannot be involved militarily in protecting this Ukrainian corridor. But let me tell you that indirectly we will support you with all the activities, like, for instance, sharing information concerning the maritime security. I think it is not a secret to say that we will share all the relevant information concerning the maritime activity, including the Russian maritime activity, with you if this is would be the help. Because again, we are sharing already information, intelligence, and so on with you directly or via NATO. We are trying to support on a, let's say, non-military way your efforts to protect against the Russian aggression. So probably there are more indirect ways to help the Ukrainian to establish a new commercial corridor. Of course, we would like not. I don't like to see let's say, of a confrontation of the first day of establishing this corridor. This is the main, let's say, this is the main concern. You establish a new commercial corridor, and in the second, on the second day or in the second hour, you will have a new military situation, confrontational situation with Russian warship on this corridor. And again, this would be a not very good development for the Black Sea, because you'll trigger the Russian military reaction on this. So again, it's not easy to establish a protection for a new commercial corridor without having enough naval capabilities. And it's of course you can manage some missions with naval drones, but it's not enough to protect commercial convoys. It's not enough to protect commercial civilian ships against the Russian military activities.
Well, okay, that's the topic which I would love to develop, but I have the next question, and we are limited in time. And again, it's about possible military confrontation, because my next question is about possibility for Romanian air defense systems to hit Russian targets. Port of Reni and Ismail, they are just, I don't know, maybe a kilometer away from Romanian territory. And obviously that missiles and Shahed drones, which are being used on a regular basis against Ukrainian targets, could be a danger, could be a threat for Romanian territory. So my question is, how do you think, from your personal point of view, is it possible that Romanian air defense could at some point also attack targets from Russia, which are flying too near to the Romanian territory?
Oh, well, that's of course we have capabilities to protect our national airspace. So this is the main, let's say, principle. First, we have to protect our airspace, and I can assure you that every potential risk concerning the violation of our airspace will be managed by Romania, including with the NATO capabilities. That's for sure. We cannot rule out accidents or errors, or you can have debris from a Russian missile targeting Ukrainian infrastructure near to Romania, and you may have like the situation with Poland and other. This is of course part of the, let's say, risk which is not easy to control. But if we speak about the potential missiles violating the Romanian national airspace, for sure we will have a quick reaction in accordance with our strategy. So it's of course I understand your question. It's about that part of the Russian activities which are trying to to have more provocations, to create more situations at the border with Romania. From my point of view, they will not target directly Romanian infrastructure. But of course, the risk is bigger for the Romanian commercial ships and for some Ukrainian ships which are, transiting towards the Romanian waters. So again, it's a clear, distinction between what the Russians are targeting in the Ukrainian Romanian border, and for sure they will continue to target mainly the Ukrainian targets. And for Romania, as far as I understood from the official sources, that they will monitor closely the potential risk coming from an accident or from errors, because also we had last year a Russian drone transiting Romanian space, and they identified the drone in somewhere in Serbia or something like that. So again, from accidents, we may have some potential situations, but that's all. I don't see the potential for risk. In the same time, as I said, we have our reaction capabilities ready to cope with all the potential risk coming from the Russian military activities.
Thank you. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the briefing and your expert analysis on Romanian politics.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hope to see you again, and have a nice day.
You too.
That was the Romanian expert Claudiu Degeratu, who was here with us, and that's the last briefing in Ukraine Media Center Odesa for today. Watch our announcements for the next week and stay with us.